Good afternoon. Welcome into the Sanders Sports Show right here live on Spreaker.com. I am your host, Dave Sanders. I want to thank you for taking your time out and making me a part of your day, the show a part of your day. Got a little bit to talk about today. We're going to continue the MLB team-by-team previews with the Angels later on. We're going to talk some NBA, some NHL, and we're going to give you a little bit of a preview of the Super Bowl. We're going to start with the Ravens offense here in a little bit. But a huge story broke today. I want to get something off my chest first. I'm going to school for this. In case you didn't know, I'm going to school for sports broadcasting. I'm doing this on the side as like a little side project to kind of get me in the mode of doing things. It's a lot harder than it seems to be able to come up with new topics every day. Pretty much the last week and a half, I've rehashed a lot of stuff, mainly about Dwight Howard. For the first couple days, Monte Teo, Lance Armstrong, etc. It's a lot harder than it seems, so I thank you for your patience. Any feedback is more than welcome. Constructive criticism is always the best. Excuse me, if I don't know what I'm doing wrong, I need to know. I'm not going to be able to fix it, so thank you for everyone who supported, who subscribed. Keep telling your friends. Keep telling them to like the Facebook page, like my channel on Spreaker. Once again, thank you for just bearing with me pretty much for the past 2 weeks now. 2 weeks, 180 followers on Spreaker, over 300 listens. Thank you again. Have about 24 likes on my Facebook page. Would love to get that up, but seriously, thank you to everybody. Today we do have quite a few new topics, so I won't be rehashing trading Dwight Howard or any of that stuff today, because the big news that came out this morning was a report on Alex Rodriguez, who, yes, is probably not going to play this year, or at least most of the year. But A-Rod is tied to yet another steroid scandal. Now, he's already admitted to using between 2001 and 2003, so he's already tarnished in my book. He's being accused of being on a list that's been put out by an anti-aging clinic ran by Anthony Bosch, who has been linked to Manny Ramirez, and when Manny got suspended for 50 games a couple years ago. Other names on this list are Melky Cabrera, Nelson Cruz, and Gio Gonzalez, among others who have not been named yet. I'm sure those will come out soon, though. Apparently, this anti-aging clinic sold HGH, testosterone, and anabolic steroids. Like I said earlier, A-Rod is out for the season. Probably. I mean, the best case scenario for him is after the All-Star break, but they're not even counting on that. I don't see him coming back now. I mean, this is the second time he's been linked to performance-enhancing drugs. And in my opinion, I don't think he should come back. I think there should have been something put in these players' contracts, especially after Balco, after the whole McGuire anabolic steroid scandal during his home run race. Something should have been put in the contracts as an out for Major League Baseball clubs. Basically to release them, no salary cap hit, nothing, no penalties for releasing somebody out of their contract. This is the second time A-Rod has been accused of this and has been linked to it. Will he admit to it? Who knows? He's already admitted once, so that's enough. If he would have been healthy for the next 5 or 6 years, I think he would have needed to average about 38 home runs a year, and he would have broke Barry Bonds' record. This is an interesting time in baseball, not just in baseball, but in sports in general, especially with Lance Armstrong coming out a couple weeks ago admitting to using the PEDs during the Tour de France. I have another story here in a little bit about another possible PED infraction in football, which I'll get to that here in a minute. But I titled this show today, Is It Time? And that's my question to everyone out there today. The question of the day, I want to hear back from you here on Spreaker.com, on Facebook, Facebook.com/Sanders Sports Show, or on Twitter at SandersD84. Let me know what you think. Is it time that we just accept this? That this is the status quo in sports from now on? I don't want it to be. I don't think it should be, but with everyone seemingly doing them now in some sports like baseball, cycling, pretty much any Olympic sport having to do with track and field or running, is it time to accept and allow PEDs? I want to hear what you think. Let me know. I said there's another story around this. Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens. Hey, at least he's not having to answer questions about 13 years ago, huh? Name came out. NBC Sports reported, NSI reported. Lewis may have taken a drug called IGF-1, possibly unknowingly. That is in a deer antler velvet extract that Lewis is reported to have ordered to speed up his recovery from his torn tricep. This one's a little bit different, though, because realistically, this is Ray's last game Sunday in the Super Bowl. They can't punish him next year. They won't go through the channels fast enough to actually get him suspended for the Super Bowl because he'll have appeals, and those take time. So if he did do this, he basically got away with it. There's really nothing Goodell or anybody else can do. He's going to play Sunday, regardless of what happens. But he could have done whatever he wanted. He could have taken whatever he wanted and been fine, because he's retiring after Sunday. He's already said that. I'll get more into Ray Lewis and that side of the Super Bowl on Thursday when I go over the Ravens defense. But really, Goodell can't do anything here. But C-League, on the other hand, can do something about A-Rod. And I think that he should. I think the Yankees should. No one's going to want him. He's too injury prone. And now with this hanging over his head, a second steroid scandal, no one's going to want him. Because if he gets busted for it, he's suspended. I think he should be suspended now as soon as he gets cleared to play. I think he should start a suspension then because of this. And you look at the WWE, who had the same type of thing come out, I believe, at least out of the same state. I'm not sure if it's the same clinic or not. When you had little guys like Rey Mysterio getting busted for steroids, they suspended him right away. Doesn't matter if he's injured. He served a suspension after he was healthy. Alex Rodriguez should do the same thing. They're not thinking he's going to be back until at least the All-Star break. That's July. Let's go with the best case scenario here. He comes back mid to end July. Start his suspension then. The day that he's cleared. 50 games later, you're looking at quite possibly September. End of August, beginning of September, for A-Rod to be putting on the uniform for the first time this season. And you know what? If he's anything like last year, the Yankees are better without him. I mean, especially when it comes September, October time. They benched him for Raul Ibanez. And Raul Ibanez saved the Yankees twice in the same game. A-Rod didn't do that. Jeter didn't do that. Raul Ibanez did. Other players are going to need to start stepping up on that team, and I'll get to the Yankees in 2 weeks when I do the AL East. But I think it's time. A-Rod's done, I think, after this. With all this steroid scandals, is it time, though, that we just look the other way? Because if we look the other way, as fans, as the MLB, if people look the other way and start saying, okay, it's okay now, next year, guaranteed Bonds, Clemens, Raphael, McGuire, Sosa, all of them will get in the Hall of Fame next year. Because it won't matter anymore. That's what the baseball writers are so hung up on is what's right and wrong. That's why they're not getting in, and I don't think it's right that they get in. Even if we do say, yeah, okay, let's make this all okay now, I still don't think it'll be right that they get in. I mean, Alex Rodriguez had a chance to break 800 home runs. Now with injuries and now with this, not going to. Bosch's private notebooks, Anthony Bosch, the man that ran this clinic, indicated Rodriguez paid Bosch $3,500 for HGH. And that's a steal for him. That's like pocket change for him. He carries that, not even in his wallet, he just carries it in his pocket, making $27.5 million a year. Melky Cabrera, also charged with this. Well, he was a member of the San Francisco Giants, who won the World Series that year. Texas Rangers, Nelson Cruz involved. Hit 24 home runs last year. He's listed on the record as well. Never been even thought of to be using PEDs. Gio Gonzalez, starting pitcher for the Nationals. Yeah, I call him the Nationals still. I always will. Led the league with 21 wins last season, third in Cy Young voting. Appears 5 times on this list. Actually, Gio's father even came out and said, my son is clean. He doesn't know why he's even in this discussion. Gio came out and said and did the Rafael Palmeiro minus the finger wagging, saying he never used performance-enhancing drugs of any kind and never will. And that, quote, I've never met or spoken with Tony Bosch or used any substances provided by him. Anything said to the contrary is a lie, end quote. We've heard this before, and you know what? Just the accusation of it anymore ruins you. Ruins your reputation, ruins your chances at the Hall, ruins everything. Look at Bagwell. Look at Piazza. Their names were in the mill of they did PEDs, they did steroids. They were never proven to. They never had any hard proof that these two did. Hurting them now. January 27th, Bosch told the New Times, I can't really say anything to you. Saying attorney will be in touch. He knows he's messed up again. I mean, first Manny, now a longer list of people. I mean, if Gio is telling the truth, which I hope he is because he's a great pitcher, then he needs to fight this till the very end. But if he's not, if he's lying, saying that he never took these, if he did, just get it out there now. It seems like people are more forgiving nowadays when athletes come out and say right away, yeah, okay, I got busted. I was wrong. I'm sorry, it won't happen again. Whether you do it or not, that's up to you. But at least make the first effort. Don't wait 10 years like Lance Armstrong did. Don't wait until the end of your career and hope that you can beg for forgiveness. And that's the attitude these people are taking. Do it now, ask for forgiveness later. It doesn't work, especially in sports, the way we idolize these people, the way we look up to these people. We're going to take a break. We're actually going to keep going on that subject, the way that we look up to people. Because there's been a couple of people that have come out, one non-football involved and one football involved, that have said some things that might show the future of the NFL. Coming up next on the Sanders Sports Show right here on Spreaker.com. Welcome back into the Sanders Sports Show. in the last segment saying how much we idolize certain people and how we look up to them. And a lot of that has to do with parents, too. Not just sports stars, but if your parent is a sports star and you see your dad doing what he does every day, you obviously want to emulate him. You want to be just like him. Ed Reed came out today, safety of the Baltimore Ravens, who are going to the Super Bowl, saying that while he can't stop his son, he's going to try and make sure that it's in his son's ear that he doesn't have to play football. This seems to be a growing consensus among parents nowadays. President Obama even came out and said, I will not let my son play football because of the effects of the game. This goes back to yesterday's story about Bernard Pollard, saying that the NFL won't be around in 30 years, in his opinion. If we have more people like this, like Ed Reed, President Obama, and I know many people personally that have said they will not let their children play football. I'm on the fence about it myself. I'm along Ed Reed's line of thinking of I can't stop him. I'll let him know the dangers of it, that this can seriously hurt him, which that's a given. But I'm going to let him make the decision. If he wants to, I'll support him every way. I'll help him however I can. But with more and more parents starting to come out, and some of these actually in the NFL right now, saying that they don't want their kids to be playing football, it might be where we're headed, that we won't have an NFL anymore. Without the NFL, I don't think we'll have a CFL, won't have a UFL, won't have a USFL, won't have an XFL, won't have any of those. Like I said yesterday, I don't condone, I have no problem with trying to make the game safer. I don't. I don't think anyone does have a problem with it. But when you're in the heat of the moment, you're going to try and get the ball. If you're on defense, you're going to get the ball however you can. If that means running over somebody, that means running over somebody. Granted, late hits, throwing the quarterback down when he's unprotected, those things should be penalized. But the rule that I hate the most is hit on a defenseless receiver. Every receiver, when they're catching the ball, can be considered a defenseless receiver. If you want to do that, take away the passing game. Make it all running, and it will be a boring game. There's a lot of terms I hate in sports. That's one of them. Defenseless receiver. It seems like the defense gets the brunt of the problems, of the penalties. When the offense can do whatever they want. A running back can grab your face mask basically, throw you to the ground. Nothing called. A receiver can lay a block on you after an interception, nothing called. Yeah, he's penalized later on, but nothing called during the game. Defender makes that same play. Automatic penalty, 15 yards, personal foul, possible ejection. One thing I'm talking about mainly is Golden Tate on Sean Lee in the Dallas-Seattle game this year. That was easily... I won't say it was a bad hit. It was a great hit. But still, for him to come out and not get flagged for that, if Sean Lee would have done that to Golden Tate, instant penalty, I think there's a double standard there that needs to be taken care of fast. Prime example, Tom Brady. Yeah, he got fined for the slide kick. Should have been a penalty. He had his foot up like he was coming into home plate with cleats up. NFL's in trouble. Football in general is in trouble. And with more and more stories like Ed Reed saying that he doesn't want to have his son play, that's going to do nothing more but hurt the game more. Joe Flacco said no one forced football on him or anyone else in the NFL. And that's where I see it. No one forces you to play football. You play at an early age because you want to. I know I wanted to play baseball when I was younger. Sadly, my family didn't have the money to get me into Little League. I would have loved to have done it. Most of the time, kids go up to their parents, say, I want to do a sport. That's a good thing. A, it's keeping them off the streets, keeping them out of trouble, ideally. Well, when football is talked about, parents do get involved quite a bit. No, they're not having the collisions that they have in the NFL. And yes, they're being taught right, ideally, by hopefully a friend or someone you know that's coaching them. Alden Smith actually made a good point in response to this. Quote, "It's not like we signed up and thought we were going to play tennis. It's a physical game. Everybody plays hard, and guys get hit sometimes. That's what we all know coming into the game. We all signed up for it. We came out to play football." End quote. That sums it up right there. If I'm wrong, someone prove me wrong there. Junior Seau's family didn't force him to play football. Stuff happens. Is it sad sometimes? Yes, it is. Eric LeGrand, big inspiration. He's trying everything he can to walk again. He's out. He can't walk because of football. Accidents happen. Accidents happen in all sports. Dale Earnhardt died behind the wheel, doing what he loved. People get hurt. People die. No, it's not the most glamorous side of sports, but no one's forcing these people to do them. If that's a morbid take on it, if that's a wrong take on it, show me another way. Show me something with facts that these people were forced into doing what they love to do. Because until that day comes, I'll have the same stance. I use a lot of wrestling analogies on this show. Owen Hart comes to mind quite a bit in this kind of scenario. That's probably the one exception to the rule. Owen Hart did not need to go up 60 feet above Kemper Arena in 1999. That was part of his gimmick. He had reservations, yes. He even explained them to promoter Vince McMahon at the time. But for fear of his job and fear of losing his way to support his family, he did it. No one's forcing these players, these NFL players, who have guaranteed contracts, who have guaranteed money coming in, to go out and do something stupid, like going up 60 feet above the arena. Accidents happen. Just got to move on. I know that's bad, but you do. Stopping your kids from playing football might not be the answer, because they can go play basketball. They can still get hurt. They can go play baseball. They can get beamed in the head. They can go play hockey. Ton of dangerous things around there. Skates. The puck. Fights. Getting slammed into the boards. Hell, playing golf can hurt you. Errant shot comes over, hits you in the head. Boom, you're hurt. Stopping football will do nothing. But the NFL is in real trouble here. This is Sanders Sports Show on Spreaker.com. We'll be back.
The upside's gonna love, nothing is real.
Welcome back into the Sanders Sports Show. Sorry about that last segment. Just had to get a lot off my chest. I'm just tired of people blaming things that they know nothing about. Let's turn over to preview this Sunday's Super Bowl game. Today and tomorrow we're going to preview the offense of each team. Thursday and Friday preview the defense of each team. So we're going to start off today with the Ravens offense, led by Joe Flacco. Not exactly the most exciting guy in the world to watch on the field. Then again, neither is Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, really any pocket passer. I actually compare Flacco to Tim Duncan over in the NBA because of how I hate using the word boring, but that's where I'm going to go because that's what the general consensus is about this Ravens offense, is that they are boring. They're fundamental. And fundamental is boring, apparently. Just ask the San Antonio Spurs. But boring works. Boring wins championships, too. Don't always have to have the flashy plays. Yeah, they're nice to watch sometimes, and yes, sometimes they do help. But has Blake Griffin won an NBA title yet? Will he win one this year? Who knows? He hasn't won one yet, though. I wouldn't want him taking the final shot to win a championship for me. Then you have players like LeBron and Kobe in the NBA. I'll give them the ball in the final second to make the game-winning shot. NFL comparison. When I want Joe Flacco to lead my team down, yeah, I would. If I had a 2-minute drill right now, the player I want to lead my team down the field would probably be Joe Flacco. Not Peyton Manning, not Tom Brady, not Aaron Rodgers, not Drew Brees. Probably Joe Flacco. He's playing the best football he's played since he came into this league this year. A lot of people don't realize this. 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in this playoffs. You tell me that's boring? Look who he's beaten to get here. He's beaten Peyton Manning and Tom Brady in their homes to get to the Super Bowl. Nobody else can say that. Tom Brady is licking his wounds right now. A lot of people still consider him an elite player. He's a great player. Tom Brady is great during the season. Postseason, though, I don't say he disappears, but he falls off. I think I mentioned this stat 2 weeks ago. Joe Flacco has won 8 playoff games since 2008, when he came into the league. Tom Brady has won 3 since 2008. Granted, he was out for a year. But still, he's Tom Brady. He's leading that Patriots team. You'd think he'd have more wins. Give you a little bit more insight. Mark Sanchez has 4 playoff wins in that same time frame. But is Flacco the reason that the Ravens might win? No, it's not. They have a great ground game with Ray Rice. Actually, if it wasn't for Ray Rice, who knows where they'd be right now? We all remember quite possibly the play of the year against the Chargers, 4th and 28. Ray Rice took a little screen pass and got a first down. And it's not like he had a clear path. He fought for about a good 10 to 12 yards of that. Was Ray Rice the reason they're going to win? I don't think so. I think the key player on this offensive team, on this offensive side of the Ravens, yes, Flacco's going to have something to do with it, but in the end, it's going to be Torrey Smith. And I think he will be your Super Bowl MVP if they win. Torrey Smith is the unsung hero of this team. Everyone talks about Anquan Bolden, Ray Rice, Dennis Pitta. No one talks about Torrey Smith that much. Hell, I think Jacoby Jones gets more people talking about him than Torrey Smith. If the Ravens are going to win, they're going to win not in the most exciting way, but they're going to get it done. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. My Angels, who I'm going to preview here on the next segment, my Angels in 2002 had Garrett Anderson lead their team in home runs with 28 all season. They didn't hit the long ball to win. They played small ball. Sometimes small ball beats out big and flashy. Just as the Angels did against the Giants in 2002, who had Barry Bonds at the time, who crushed a ball that I'm sure still hasn't landed 12 years later. Sorry, 11 years later. I'm still withholding my pick until Friday. But if the Ravens are going to win, it'll be behind the Flacco to Torrey Smith exchange. Moving on to the NFL, just a few more news and notes. Rob Ryan, who said he would be out of work for 5 minutes, still has to wait longer now for a job. The Rams decided they will not be hiring him as defensive coordinator, and their search will continue. A few NBA news and notes. Possible big trade is actually in the works right now for Rudy Gay out of Memphis. Raptors are very interested in acquiring him, sending quite possibly Jose Calderon and Ed Davis in return for Gay and a couple of the players. I'm a Raptors fan. I've made no secret of that on my show. I don't see this being the move that will put them over the top. I still think they need to get rid of Bergani, but this is a step in the right direction, though. Allen Iverson turned down the D-League offer that he got. Still does want to come back and play in the NBA with an NBA team, not a developmental team. Oh, I wish I could have been at the press conference for that one. Yeah, I'm going to turn down the D-League because, to me, that's just practice. Can you imagine that press conference? Oh, I wish I could have been there for that. Turning to a couple of scores. There's 7 games that happened on Monday. Warriors took out the Raptors 114-102. Grizzlies beat the Sixers 103-100. Sonics beat the Wizards 96-94. Nets beat the Magic 97-77. Bulls beat the Bobcats 93-85. Nuggets beat the Pacers 102-101 in a great game. And the Jazz got slaughtered at their home by the Rockets 125-80. Tuesday's games, 4 games on the docket tonight, including the Lakers taking on the Jazz. Lakers taking on the Pelicans tonight in their last game in their homestand. They should win this game. Warriors have the Cavs on the road, Bucks at the Pistons, and Mavericks at the Blazers tonight. Turn over to hockey real quick. There was a few hockey games last night. I don't know if anyone's been watching hockey this year so far, but there's been some great games this year. Some high-scoring games, too. I've never seen this kind of high-scoring to start off an NHL season. It's great, though. It's great to have the sport back. I wasn't sure how well it would be received. It looks like everyone's loving it. I mean, 11 of the 13 games on opening night were sold out. This in a league where the owners were being greedy, still come out and support their team. It's awesome to see. Last night, 5 games on the docket. Bruins beat the Hurricanes 5-3 to improve to 4-0-1. Blue Jackets beat the Stars 2-1. Coyotes blanked the Predators 4-0. Oilers over the Avs 4-1. And the Kings beat the Canucks 3-2 in a shootout. Tonight, 10 games, including the Ducks back in action. They'll be taking on the Sharks tonight at 10:30 Eastern. Other games, Devils are at the Bruins, Maple Leafs at the Sabres, Flyers at the Rangers, Jets at the Canadiens, Caps at the Senators, Islanders at the Penguins, Panthers at the Lightning, Stars at the Red Wings, and Blue Jackets at the Wild. Wild are a huge favorite to win the Stanley Cup this year. or at least the Western Conference. I can see that happening. Everyone's saying the Wild and the Rangers will be in the Stanley Cup. Very well could be. Also yesterday, Tiger did end up winning the tournament at Torrey Pines by 4 strokes, taking his 8th victory at Torrey Pines, most wins at one single course by one single player ever. So congrats to him on that. I said a couple weeks ago, this is Tiger's year to come back. I think he'll win 2 or 3 majors. He'll go back into his normal form. Everything will be fine with Tiger this year. Gonna take one last break here. Coming up, the Angels preview, and then we'll sign off. Set up tomorrow's show right here on the Standard Sports Show on Spreaker.com. Welcome back into the Standard Sports Show right here on Spreaker.com. It's that time of year again. Baseball season is upon us, so of course, John Fogerty Center Field will be playing pretty much at every baseball park coming up here in a couple months. They kill that song up here in Seattle. And I'll probably kill that song here over the next 6 weeks, to be honest with you. Yesterday we started off with the Astros. There wasn't much to talk about with the Astros. They didn't really make many moves to improve their team at all. I was looking all weekend, too, because I knew that would probably be my toughest team to actually preview, would be the Astros. And I'm sorry to any Astros fans, if there are any out there, because the team is just god-awful. Today, though, we're going to look at the opposite end of the AL West, the elite teams. There's 3 elite teams, I think, this year in the AL West. And this one made, I believe, the biggest move out of those teams. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, of California, of North America, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I've been a fan of them since they were the California Angels back in the 80s and 90s. Been a fan of the Angels since I was 3 years old. I suffered through all the 50, 60 win seasons. So I might be a little biased on this. Not who I kidding. I'm going to be very biased on this. Angels are winning the West. I'm going to call that right now. I'm not even going to wait till Friday to say that. Angels are winning the West. And how are they going to win the West, you ask? They're not going to do what they did last year. They're not going to get off to that horrible start. Pujols got the AL jitters out of him, finally, after about a month. If they wouldn't have gotten off to the start that they did last year, I think they were 0-7, 0-8 to start out the season, if I remember right. They cannot do that again. And I don't think they will this year. Because they signed a man who's played not only in that league, the American League, but also in their division, in Josh Hamilton, bringing him into right field. A little bit of history here, of course. Last year, finished 89-73, third in the AL West behind the A's and the Rangers. Again, very slow start last year. Nobody saw that coming. I mean, you have Albert Pujols, the best pure hitter in the game today, go, I believe it was 180 at-bats before he hit his first home run. Was hitting under 200 for a short time. Yeah, that can't happen again, and it won't happen again. They added Josh Hamilton, lost Kendrys Morales, so a little bit of a switch there, power bats. The only major worry I see on this team, quite honestly, is the starting pitching. We lost Irvin Santana, which that, to me, is not a bad thing, because he was falling off so bad last year. Lost Irvin Santana, lost Dan Herron to free agency. Didn't really have that 5th starter until we got Zach Greinke. Didn't end up re-signing him. Right now, here's the projected starting rotation for the Angels. Jared Weaver still in the A spot. C.J. Wilson, Tommy Hanson, who we acquired from the Braves for Jordan Walden. Joe Blanton, who we got in free agency, and Jason Vargas, who we got in the Kendrys Morales trade with the Mariners. On paper, not the best looking. I mean, there's some big names there. Not the best arms, though. Blanton, been around a little while. Hansen, unpredictable. And we basically traded unpredictable arm for unpredictable arm in Jordan Walden. I don't even know who's going to be the closer this year. They signed Ryan Matson when we have Ernesto Frieri. I still don't get that move. We have Frieri, who's the Nets' K-Rod to me. And we go and sign another closer. Maybe they want Frieri to be set up for a while. Francisco was set up all of 5 games in 2002 before he blossomed into the closer role after Percival left. Again, they cannot start off the way they did last year. I cannot see them doing it. They have quite possibly the best 1-3-4 hitters since Ricky Henderson, McGuire, and Canseco in Oakland in the 80s and 90s. You have Mike Trout leading off, probably throwing Kendrick second. Then you have Pujols, Hamilton as your top 4. Bottom of the order doesn't look the best, but you have some speed, you have some good hitting. Then you have Borges, Ibar, Callaspo, Iannetta. Trumbo's in there as DH. Just don't let him back into third base. Please don't let Trumbo back into third base. God, that was horrible. I mean, you got a good all-around team here. You got a team that will contend for the West. They'll probably win the West. They'll contend for the World Series, I think, this year. Again, I know that sounds biased, and by all means it is, because I'm a fan of theirs. But if the Rangers wouldn't have lost Hamilton and lost what they lost, Mariners didn't really make any improvements. We have the Astros in here now. The only team I'm really worried about this year is the A's. Definitely get to them tomorrow, but they're the one team that I would be worried about if I were the Angels. Angels start off their season. Their spring training. Pitchers and catchers are reporting on the 12th. First game is the 22nd for spring training. Their first regular season game. Going a little bit of a different route this year with some of the schedules. They actually played in Cincinnati on April 1st. Their first 6 games are against 2 teams where Josh Hamilton has played before. Cincinnati and Texas, and both in their stadiums. I expect Hamilton to have 4 home runs by the end of those 2 series, with 3 of them probably coming against Texas. I will definitely be going to some of the games this year. I'll probably even broadcast from a couple of them. They come up here to Seattle for the first time April 25th. I'll probably go into a lot more games besides Angels games this year. Maybe doing some live feeds from there, so stay tuned for that. We'll definitely keep you posted. As far as the wins, I said the Astros will win, I believe, 48 games yesterday. Yeah, 48. I'm going to give the Angels 99 wins this year. I think they'll finish 99 and 63. I don't think that will be the final starting rotation. I think we will pick up one more pitcher by the trade deadline, because we have some expendable pieces to trade, some expendable players. We have Vernon Wells, who's just eating up salary right now. He'll probably cycle into center field. Him and Borges will probably split time. Lost Torrey Hunter to Detroit. Good riddance to him, in my opinion. Angels looking good this year. That'll about wrap it up for today. Like I said, tomorrow, Oakland A's get a preview. Go over all their additions, subtractions, what I think they'll do. Go over the 49ers offense, what I think their strengths will be, and why they will win the Super Bowl. Also more on the NBA, NHL scores, let you know what's going on in the trading world. See if Rudy Gay stays in Memphis. Still no updates on the Kings to Seattle, so that's why we haven't talked about it. But hopefully we'll hear something soon. Today's Tuesday. That means my boys Joe 5 o'clock somewhere and Anthony Perry are on live today at 4 p.m. Pacific time with Fanalize This. Go check out their channel here on Spreaker.com. Also go like their page on Facebook, facebook.com/Fanalize This. Also, if you're a bowling fan, go check out bowlingevolved.com. Get all the happenings on the PBA Tour with teams owned by Terrell Owens, among others, as well as getting little tips and tricks to help your game out for the casual fan to the hardcore pro, bringing bowling to the masses. That's bowlingevolved.com. And that'll about wrap it up here for me today. Go like my Facebook page if you haven't, facebook.com/Sanders Sports Show. Subscribe to my page here on Spreaker.com. Also, I am on iTunes now. Go check me out. Search Sanders Sports Show and subscribe. Get all the podcasts delivered as soon as they're uploaded onto the server. Also on Twitter at SandersD84. Drop me a line. Remember the question of the day. Is it time to say, screw everything else? Steroids are a part of the game. Let's just let it happen. Want to hear from you. Until tomorrow, hope everyone has a great night tonight. And as always, be good humans. Bye-bye.